who wants to cook when the weather is as gorgeous as today? But we have to. Let's do this. I don't want to spend too much time in the kitchen. So we're cooking today something very fast. Spaghetti carbonara. Let's do this. And I'm like literally using leftover salami, some ham. I've got this little piece of parmesan. I'm gonna use this and see what else we need. We need some eggs. Quite a lot of eggs in here. Yeah. And you know, just to keep it up a little bit different all the time, because I do make carbonara quite a lot. It's one of my favorites, my kids' favorites. I'm just gonna grab some different pasta for it today. So in my storage, as you can see, I've got quite a lot of different pastas. I usually always grab the number 5, or is it? It's probably out again because here we go. There's one left, but here's one up top as well. I use this so much, so I've only got 2 left. Need to stock up. But for the carbonara, I'm thinking I could use some of those linguine type. They're quite flat, called bavette, a little bit thicker. Perfect. So guys, let me know, do you do that as well? You just switch the pasta type and use the same sauce? It's such a little neat trick, isn't it? So to make it even easier, I'm using a Thermomix. You know me. This is just such a great little time saver when you're a busy mom working from home and you have to whip up a lunch for your children, for yourself, your family, whoever it is. And it's got this really nice carbonara recipe in there. So let's get this started and prep everything, and then we can start cooking. So the first thing we need is 60 grams of parmesan, and I think there's another type of cheese and 30 grams of pecorino. I have neither of those two. I only have like a parmesan piece, so I'm just going to use whatever I have and mix it in the Thermomix. We are doing whatever we've got today. This piece, not more. Let's see how much this is. I'm only cooking for 2 children today, so that should be enough cheese anyway for 2 people. Because my eldest daughter is away with school for a week. So that's 110. It's actually more than 90. Great. I had more than I actually needed. I'm gonna take 1 piece out only because I'm gonna put that on top. All right, so mix this. Here we go. It's gonna get loud. Oh, look at that. It's perfect. Such a handy little thing, this Thermomix. Right, 1 onion. 1 onion. Look at that. Onion is chopped. All right. Now it asks to add 150 grams of ham in cut pieces. So I'm just gonna use up what I have. So I've just cut it into little squares. There was like 140, so we've got 10 grams to go. That's perfect because I've got those little leftover salami pieces, and just gonna chop them also in little squares and add them in. Just gives a bit of an extra, I don't know, added layer of flavor. It's not a lot, but it's just a little bit, just a tiny bit of. And we go to 155, which is great, perfect. Okay, 20 grams of olive oil. Just using whatever I've got open. 19 should be enough. This recipe is actually for 4 people, but usually, oh, that's this little piece here. Usually that's not enough for my 3 children. I mean, it's enough for the 3 children, but when my husband's home, he will never get anything, nothing left over. So today there's 2 children and my husband's arriving late afternoon, so hopefully there's leftovers. All right, olive oil is in. We're putting the lid back on, and Thermomix asks for this lid. Put it on, and this goes on for 5 minutes, and I think it's gonna heat up to 120 degrees. It's just gonna roast those flavors together, the ham and salami. Or yummy. Let's do this. And while Thermomix is working for me, I can clean up here. And while the Thermomix is also doing its work, we're just gonna start cooking the pasta. I don't know about you guys, but even if I use long pasta, I always break it. I don't know why. Just so much easier for my kids to eat. Plus, I don't need a pot that's longer than the pasta, because if I put it in like that, you know how it always is. The pasta cooks on one side, not on the other, and it gets really sticky and too much work. Let's break it. Usually grab 1 lump per kid and break it. Break it. Thermomix is calling. So this is what it looks like. That's the onions roasted and the ham and the salami. It smells divine. That's our cheese. The potato is boiling. Put it in. And I even put all those broken pieces in, because we are not that fussy in this house and we're not wasting anything, are we? All right, we need something to stir it a little bit because we don't want any stickage. Yes. And cooks for about 9 minutes. So we set the timer. For the sauce, we need 3 eggs and 1 egg yolk. And we put the cheese in, a bit of salt, pepper, and that's it. So let's start at the beginning with our 3 eggs. Usually break them in here. I don't know why. Don't break them directly into our mixing bowl. Just usually check if they look okay. That's 2. 3, and then I'm actually gonna keep the egg white because sometimes my son likes to make a banana smoothie and actually puts an egg white in, just gets really frothy and light. So I am going to put the egg white in here and keep it in the fridge. Egg white goes in the fridge. Right, got the eggs in, the cheese. The cheese in. Just a 1/4 teaspoon. And some pepper. Just got a little bit left. a little pepper in this one. I have to refill this in a minute. Okay, put the mixing cup back on. Now the lid also. And just gonna mix for about a couple of seconds. So that mix now, it's basically just anything. It's basically just the eggs and the cheese mixed. You don't have to use a Thermomix for this. I mean, you don't have to use a Thermomix for the whole recipe. I'm just showing you how I do it. But yeah, not a big deal. All right. So we're just waiting for the pasta sauce to finish. Got about 4 minutes to go. The most important thing about carbonara, keep pasta water more than you think you need, because I mean, if you have too much, it doesn't really matter. Plus, actually, if you reheat carbonara later on, you can get it so creamy again by adding pasta water back to it instead of water. Because with water, you just dilute it. And the pasta water makes it so creamy. So, good tip. A lot of pasta water. So I'm actually grabbing 2 large glasses. So large beer glasses. Using for water, anything. And I try to fill them up as much as I can, which is quite difficult in this pot, but you'll see. I'll show you. Pasta water, the main ingredient in pasta carbonara. Who would have thought, right? Look outside, it's so gorgeous. My view here is just fantastic. I have to show you. Just quickly, we've got 2 more minutes. Look at that. Oh, wow. I'll turn you around. And look at my palm trees. So I still have both here and both here. I've got this pot now. It just is perfect. And I've ordered 2 more, one for here and one for here. And when I sit here with my coffee in the morning, it is just wonderful to have the palm trees. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Back to cooking. Luckily, we don't have to spend much time in the kitchen with this sauce. We've got about 1 minute to go. Right, let's get the water out. See what I mean? It's quite difficult to get a lot out. So I'm using another glass because I don't want to get the pasta out. Not very successful, but I have more. The good thing about these glasses is that they're very thick, so they're not breaking from the heat. So you have to be a bit careful about that because it's very hot, obviously. All right, got most of the pasta water out, but as you can see, I've got 2 very large glasses, almost full. Let's drain it. Okay, next step, you mix the egg mixture and the ham into the pasta. Let's do the ham first. I have to make it come closer, because you don't want to see me, you want to see how I make the carbonara now, do you? Right, so spatula for this. Take it all out. Now those little crumbs in there, that's the cheese that's not melted yet. This will now melt with the residual heat of the pasta. So we stir this in. But don't use any more heat because otherwise the eggs will curl. Right, let's let's put that in. And then we're going in with pasta sauce. Quite a bit to start with. And we're making this very creamy. Should have taken a bigger pot, I think. And eventually you can go up with your temperature just a little bit more. I'm making a mess with this small pot, but I'm not going to change this now. Do one more piece to wash up. Add more water. So I'm going back to maybe number 3 out of 10. And I was cooking the pasta on 7, just for reference. And you don't have to stir constantly. You can just let it sit for a little bit and then keep going. And I'm just gonna quickly text my son, it's spaghetti carbonara, and he'll be so happy. So, back to the pasta. So really, you just have to find out how your stove works. Mine goes up to temperature so fast that I'm quite hesitant to go any further, but I will. Go up to 5 now. Just depends on the time you have. If you have very little time, just increase it, but you need to stir a little bit more vigorously. I have a little bit of time left, so I can just stir it with a little bit more patience. So basically what you're trying to do is the pasta water has starch in it, and as the temperature increases, that starch makes the sauce thicker. So I can already tell it's getting thicker. Going back down with my temperature because I don't want the egg to curdle. And there's enough residual heat. All those little pieces that drop out on the side, I'm just gonna add back in at the end. There's no point. See how the sauce is becoming thicker and creamier? Going back in with more. Because that is what carbonara is all about. You don't need to add any cream. It's the egg and the pasta water and the cheese that make this velvety, delicious sauce. This is not that I'm doing an original version by any means, but the sauce, it's the way it is done in the original recipe. And I'm gonna add more. It looks quite soupy, I know, but this will all evaporate. Don't worry. Leave it, put the lid on, pick up the kids, and then see if I need to add some more in the end to loosen up that final set. That always happens with pasta, doesn't it? When you put the lid on and just leave it without any temperature. This is a labor of love. I'm actually going to take it away a little bit because my stove heats up so fast and it doesn't cool as fast for the way I like to cool it right now. I'm going to use that time and just put all those little pieces in that are on the side. It looks wonderful. I'll turn the stove off completely now. Just looks absolutely wonderful. Just going to clean up a little bit of the mess here and then I'll show you the final result. This is exactly the way I want it. See that thick creamy sauce? Incredible. Just incredible. Wow. All right, let's clean up all this mess here, and then I'll show you how it looks like.